Take the wings in.
That looks amazing.
They're very spicy.
I don't want them. I don't like spice.
I know.
I know you're just a little girl and I have to wipe your face the whole time.
I got this shit all.
I have to treat you like a baby, but you know.
I'm gonna need some beer. Be my drink, hurry up. Why is this thing shutting off? What's going on? That's one crazy bug. Well, it's the truth. Oh, I don't care. It's funny. I know. Everybody's pissed because I didn't give you the money shot of the brisket squirting all over the squeen. Squeen? Oh, yeah, squeen. You know, it's a squeen, Jeffrey. It's a squeen. And one great thing about cooking the ham in the, Jesus, or green bean cast. So much easier just to reheat it in a pit. Well, because you don't want to meese?
Obviously, this is a great day. I mean, I'm practicing social distancing, but look at those guys. See, they're practicing social distancing too. Very good. That's a really good social distancer there. Howdy.
Hi.
See, so you can still go out right in the neighborhood and just walk around. You got yourself some wine. Chardonnay, that is, from Wine Till Sold Out. I mean, I can get used to this. I think you can too. Oh, wait, I'm exhausted. Better. You know, and if you don't want to hold the bottle, the great thing about my new invention is you can just let it go down and you just got the tube sticking out. It works, trust me. We're all gonna be doing this real soon, the way this is going. Don't be afraid right now. Just get yourself a nice hazmat suit. Enjoy the beautiful weather. I mean, look at it, it's gorgeous out today. People are working. Ugh. I gotta stop. Refill? So I'm sure a lot of you are thinking I'm taking this coronavirus way too serious. But god darn it, watch one of my old videos and I'll put it in a link above where somebody sneezed in my face. How terrible was that? Oh, his lawn looks incredible. I don't know if I'm talking too much in this mask and that's why it's fogging up, or if I'm running into a cloud of COVID-19. Either way, I'm protected. All right, I better get back to those chicken wings before they burn up. I think my timer's going off right now. If I don't win an Emmy Award for this content, it's rigged. I ain't kidding you.
You know when you're cooking at night, the weirdest things pop in your head. Stuff like, there's a skeeter on my, knock it off. There's a skeeter on my, knock it off. There's a one, there's a dozen. You can hear the buzzing. There's a skeeter on my Peter, knock it off. You can sing along if you want to.
We've all been there. Standing alone by our pits while it's raining, just praying we can light a match so we can have a fire. Our main goal in life is to be that husband, that dad, that hero that can provide our circle of life one incredible cook that will satisfy even the worst hunger for Q. So get ready. Ricer is here to bring you peace and end your struggles of failure. He is here to help you amplify your backyard barbecue fun. Oh, can somebody please tell me who wrote this crap? Host Ricer.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to BBQ Tavern Talk. And hey, I hope all of you guys had a fantastic and wonderful 4th of July. I was busy. Holy cow, I took a couple days off. I cooked some pork butt. I cooked, chuck roast, ribs, baby back ribs, hamburgers, chicken wings, and brats and hot dogs. So all weekend, man, I was on a hot grill. Except for yesterday, we went out for prime rib, my wife and I, and we went out and had a little me time, let's say, her and I. It was fun. And but the rest of the time, every day, it was sitting in front of a grill, and man, we had a blast. We had a really good time. My best friend and I, we did a video. He was helping me, so it was fun in that fashion. Number one. He actually talked in the video a little bit this time again, so some of you guys might have seen Dale before in my videos, and so I got a little return of Dale in there, and we had some good times for sure. Also, holy cow, did I get drunk on the 3rd of July, because we had a big long rib cook that day, and just a lot of fun. The kids were on the water all weekend, so yeah, it was just a typical good old-fashioned, fireworks, cooking out, drinking beer, drinking some wine, and sitting on the lake. So it was a lot of fun. How about you guys? You guys all have a good time? Let's go through the chat real quick here. I see we got Pickles, and we got Johnny from View to a Grill. We got Craig. How you doing, Craig, from behind the Garage Barbecue? Daddy Dutch. We got Johnny Maggs. Hello, sir. Brad Lucas. Thanks for joining me, buddy. Skip. We got Skip from Long Quest. Awesome that you joined us tonight. And we got Brian from Mad Horse Barbecue. I'm sure that I'm on the big screen tonight again. I love that when he sends a picture of that. Hey, we've got Alton, the dog father. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining me. Tom's Food Factory. And we got our guest is in the chat. We got Jabin from Postal BBQ. So that's awesome that he jumped in a little early to talk to you guys. Ray from Newcomb Barbecue. And I think we got Smokin' Joe. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining me. I think I already said hello to Pickles. If not, hello, Pickles. Charlie. We got Babe Cooks for the Cop. I like that name. That's a good one. How you doing, Josh and Babe? And I think we'll it looks about like it. So it was a great weekend. I hope all of you guys had a great hi, Julie. Thank you for joining me. And we got Terry from Madwood Barbecue. So, boy, the chat's going by a little quicker than I can read. Delana and Wally, thank you guys. You're always in here. I love that. I appreciate it too. Nathan, all right. How you doing, bud? Well, let's see what else. That's about the wrap right there. But, honestly, I got to say that this time of year is just so much fun, and everybody's always trying to in that backyard trying to grill up some things and hang out with friends and family, and some of us have kids, so it makes the 4th of July a little bit more enjoyable sometimes, as long as they're behaving. But just seeing all the kids out on the pontoon getting pulled around. My buddy has a huge pontoon boat, a couple, he's got twin screws on the dang thing, and he's got 115 horse twins, and that thing could pull me out of the water, to be honest with you. So it's fun to see like the 3 tubes in the back. I didn't get it on film. I wish I would have, but you know how it is. So, hey, Kenneth, how's it going, buddy? But yeah, so I hope all of you guys had some type of enjoyable memory for the 4th of July. I certainly did. Again, it was maybe a little excessive in the drinking on the 3rd, but it was still it was a bunch of buddies, and that happens when even if you're an adult, you forget about that stuff. Hungry Lou's Barbecue, how's it going, buddy? That's great. I'm glad everybody's out on the lake down by you. That's cool. Yeah, it's like there's something about the 4th of July and being either camping or just doing a backyard fire. You got a little burn barrel, whatever you want to use, and just sitting around and enjoying it, man. Just enjoying it. So, but yeah, so we got Jabin on tonight. And a lot of people know him. Hey, how you doing, Brad? Thanks for joining me from Charcoal Charger. The fun thing about all of Jabin's videos that I enjoy the most is obviously he's a good cook, but I also enjoy his production value. I mean, he is a buster. The guy knows what he's doing. And you'll probably find out why he knows what he's doing here in this interview. But it's a pleasure to always watch his videos, and he always kind of like thinks outside the box. But before we talk here, and I blat on about it forever without him, let's get him in. So, all right, we'll call him up. Here he comes. There he is. How you doing, my friend? How you doing, Jabin?
Good. Hey, how you doing, buddy?
I'm real good, bud. And did you have a good weekend? I know you're up in Canada, but did you have a good weekend?
Dude, it was the best. This morning, before lunch, I was tubing down a river and then picking cherries in the afternoon, and it was pretty banging.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Well, I've gotten to kind of know you throughout the last few months, a little bit of side private messaging or whatever you want to kind of call that type of stuff, and got to know you a little bit and shared some things. But, tell us, for the people that are maybe new in the chat, tell us just a little bit about Jabin and Postal Barbecue.
Yeah, Postal Barbecue is my YouTube channel. Really, it's kind of evolved a little bit over the years to become just my YouTube online, or my barbecue online presence, from YouTube to Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. Much like everyone else. But really, it's been a side passion of mine for the past 5-6 years, and really just the whole purpose of it is just to teach people from around the world, really, how to cook classic barbecue that's simple and engaging.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So, yeah.
And you're very engaging in your videos. I want to tell you that. I mean, it's like you're really the same person just talking like offline that you are watching you online. You're just very, your same tone, your same presence, and everything about you. So, I mean, you are who you are, so that's really, that. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. And you've got a good teacher voice, and I enjoy that part. You are trying to instruct us to be better cooks or learn how to do it. So that's good. So what got you into the whole YouTube and barbecue? What got you into this part of it?
Yeah, that's sort of a fun story, because not a lot of people know the sort of the backstory of all that. I got into barbecuing, like as a kid. I always loved cooking over fire, and we had grown up like this nasty propane grill that my dad always burnt the burgers. And don't tell him that, he may be watching, but he just got talking, and yeah. And but the grill was nothing special at all, but I still loved to always try to take it over. And then so growing up, I just always loved to cook. I loved to experiment with flavors, and really it just sort of progressed to the point where high school hit, and I'm like, how do I graduate? Well, I can graduate from taking a whole bunch of cooking classes and and art courses, and that kind of led me into sort of where I am now, where I really began to cook barbecue on YouTube, because I was at a point in life where I really was needing a hobby and something to do to fill my time with. Sure. And I was like, I'm going to start barbecuing again. And at that time, I had a new propane grill, and so I got a smoke box and kind of just used what I had, right? And then I started watching Barbecue Pit Boys, like most every barbecue YouTuber did when they were
starting out. Yep.
Starting out, and I'm like, I need one of those charcoal things. And then one thing led to another, and fast forward 6 years, and I'm still doing it. And but probably one of the main reasons I started to cook more, what's the word? Just cook differently, is because when my middle son was born, I have 3 boys, and when my middle son was born, he had a bunch of food allergies, and so he was limited to eating like vegetables, or most vegetables, and most meat. And I'm like, well, if he can't eat a lot of things, I need to need to learn how to make him the best meat possible. And so that sort of got me thinking differently on actually like utilizing some of the skills that I learned as a kid and through high school and whatnot to bring to my dinner table so that he could still eat some really good food. Because to be honest, like there's a lot of things that he can't eat, and I feel bad for him. And so this is one way where if he says I want ribs tonight, I can make him the best ribs in town.
Yeah, right.
So,
and that's inspirational for a lot of people, if you ask me. And that's cool that you're taking upon it as your dad and saying, well, the poor little bugger can't eat some of these things that we can enjoy, but we're gonna change our menu to be where he's having just as much fun. I mean, I have a friend that has a kid with some food allergies, and he's probably got the same type of things, but he can eat as much brisket and all that as he can devour. So when he comes over, it's meat city. It's meat city.
Oh, totally.
So and it's so I can connect with that part of it, and that's awesome. One thing that I've noticed in most of your videos is that you take a good look at spices, and you enjoy making your own rubs and stuff like that you'll give the actual ingredients to everybody so they can do it themselves. What made you get so inspired into just like, hey, I'm gonna do my own rubs and come up with this? What kind of drew you to that part of it?
Yeah, so I started making my own, you see in all my videos, or a lot of my videos, my Postal Barbecue rub, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I made that one back like 5 years ago to give to family as a Christmas present. And they just sort of like stuck. Everyone loved it. And I'm like, this is better than what I can buy in the store up in Canada. Right. And so I just sort of just kept on doing that. And to this day, I still make most of my rubs because I'm in Canada, and most of the really good rub companies are from the States, and I'm not. It's just so expensive to ship up to Canada, and so I'm kind of limited to what I can even get locally without paying up the nose. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna make rubs, and I'm gonna learn kind of what flavors go together for different meats, and how meats cook, and so that sort of impacts the rub that you put together. So if it's like beef, for example, then you don't put sugar in it, and so you add in other things. You may add a pinch of sugar, but you know how that meat's going to cook. Or if you're cooking direct, you know how it's going to cook. I had a challenging rub that I had to put together only I would say 3-4 weeks ago, and it was keto ribs. A friend was coming over, and they're keto, and I said, I'm gonna make you some ribs, and I'll figure it out. And that it turned out amazing, and I'm like, I need to make a video on this.
Sure, right, yeah.
And it was I put, instead of barbecue sauce on it, I squeezed fresh lime, and it was like everyone in the comments was like, I don't trust that lime. I'm like, just try it.
Yeah.
Just try it. And it was good. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, I put lime on pork all the time, to be honest with you. And I haven't done any on a video, but a lot of times we'll put that on pulled pork. It's just phenomenal. It's a good another little layer of flavor. The cookers that you use, pretty much it's the pit barrel and the Weber kettle, correct? And maybe like a Jumbo Joe or something like that.
Jumbo Joe. Yeah.
What's drawn you into, obviously with your, if you had some work that you've done with Adrenaline Barbecue or Slow and Sear Grills, so obviously the Weber Kettle matches right into that perfectly. Yeah. But what was your reasoning for those two grills mainly that you run?
Yeah, so I really like the flavor that comes from the Weber Kettle, especially the combination of the kettle and the Slow and Sear. Like a lot of cooks I've been doing lately are not traditional Slow and Sear setup. They're more like charcoal basket. But just the way it divides your cooker space and has that that heat deflector place, so you can get your meat right up to that basket without it radiating out this way. It just kind of goes up and then convects. Sure. I really like the way that the meat comes off from the Weber with that accessory. The pit barrel, it's it's sort of a novelty for me. Like I really enjoy cooking certain things on it, but it's not like my everyday one
Yeah, right.
because I can't close off the vents and just shut my coals off. And so I have to have the right cook for it.
Right.
But yeah, those Pit Barrel sent me that cooker like 3 years ago or something like that. And the first time I used it, I'm like, this is super fun.
Yeah.
And I don't use it as often as I should, but end of the day, the cookers that I have are practical cookers.
Oops. Did we lose him here briefly? Well, we'll have to call him back. Oh, there he's coming back, I think. Here's just...
It's
There you go.
Hello?
Now you're back. You're back.
okay. Yeah, I had a few notifications come in from Messenger. So, anyways,
Okay,
so that's probably what it was.
Held up.
Yeah, how do I turn this off?
It's all right, man.
Anyways,
Yeah, just finish up about your Pit Barrel. Yep.
so I don't know if I got cut off or not, but really, end of the day, they are space saver grills and economic grills that are really good for the budget of the average person, right? Because the average
Correct.
person isn't going to go buy a Yoder smoker. They're not going
Right.
to go buy a $3,000 cooker. They're going to start off with something that's $1,000 and under, right? And so for me, that's a big part of why I use that. As well as just to save space because I have a small backyard. It's literally like 10 feet from my house to the hedges that you see. It's about 10, 12 feet, and then about 20 feet wide. And I have an 8-foot trampoline in that space. And so it really is practical for me. And I really believe that the Weber kettle specifically is one of the best cookers around for the everyday person.
Correct.
So,
yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's a Weber. It's so much fun, and it teaches you a little bit of fire management along with how to. You can cook anything on it. You might not get a lot of food on it, but you can cook anything. And that's that the Weber is. That's why you see so many darn videos out on YouTube with that, because it's such a versatile and inexpensive cooker, and there's a lot of cool gadgets for it. Obviously, there's a ton of gadgets you can add to it. Pickles Barbecue is asking if you didn't do videos, would you keep your cookers as clean as they are? Would you keep them that clean if you didn't do videos?
Honestly, I don't really clean them.
No.
Like the last video I shot yesterday, I looked at it. I'm like, it's a bit dirty. So I took just a cloth, and I was almost. It's a little bit bad to say, but I almost just took the cloth and spat on it just to, because I'm like, I gotta clean this one little spot.
Yeah, right.
And so I'm like, I probably shouldn't do that. And so I went, because COVID, right? I don't want to get COVID on my cooker. And so I went and just grabbed the a rag and just cleaned the top. But the inside, I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's not the cleanest. But it's always covered when I'm not cooking, and it's my tent that I cook under isn't up. It's covered, and same with all my cookers. Like they're always covered. Being on the West Coast, we have a lot of like salt in the air, and so it's kind of like I want to keep the salt from sort of penetrating into everything.
Right.
And yeah.
Well, I mean, they always look nice and shiny. So, I mean, so whatever you're doing a good job, Yeah. It's been shiny, you're right. So, what you just kind of mentioned about it, your tent, you and I had a great conversation about that. I was dealing with shadows and all that type of stuff. And I asked you, is that a tent? And yep, it's an easy up. And the thing that I admire, obviously I know you're a good cook and I enjoy watching you on that part, but I always admire your production. You've got a lot of skill there. What's the secret? I mean, not the secret of how you do it, but do you have some type of background in the production end of things, of like cameras and knowledge in that? And obviously I know the answer, but I don't know if a lot of people do know it.
Yeah. No, I when I'm not cooking and filming for YouTube, my day job is video production, and I own a local video production company called, ready for it, best name ever, Jabin Postal Films. And
Perfect.
yeah, and so like my day job is actually filming interviews, doing cinematic wedding films, doing branding videos and video marketing and things like
Yeah,
that. And so most of yeah, every week I'm filming something,
sure.
whether it's barbecue or client work, scripting, things like that. And
Hmm.
so it's very much just a part of my life. In fact, I feel sometimes a little bit silly actually promoting my barbecue channel because in my opinion I'm like the quality isn't there. Like I don't know if I've ever promoted my barbecue content on my business page or on my
Hmm.
website because I'm like I don't want clients that are hiring me to see this because I know it could be so much better if I wasn't in front of the camera while trying to man all my cameras and audio and control lighting and just
Right.
sun comes over the cloud and now everything's shot.
Yeah,
uh,
right.
yeah, and so video production for me has been sort of my main source of income for the past 6 years, and so I've sort of brought that over into YouTube,
Hmm.
and I actually didn't do that right away. I because gear takes a long time to set up.
Hmm.
Um, even while I was doing a lot of my video production locally, I was still using a Canon point and shoot because I'm
Sure.
like, it's quick, it's simple, it's easy, and it's still, making great video. And um, yeah, and so it really goes to show that you don't need a lot of gear to make
Right.
decent content. It's more about the content itself and your personality maybe and things like that. So
Well,
yeah,
the one thing though, I mean, y- your color schemes and everything that you're doing on that is, to me, when I see it, I'm an untrained eye. Even if I owned a printing company for 15 years, so I still can see color. But the and the production end of it, when you're good at what you're doing, you know.
thank you.
So I mean, it looks cinematic enough for a barbecue channel. I know what you're trying to gear at. You know, it's like it's kind of funny because you're in that, you know, the camera and the production stuff. I'm waiting you to become like the next Potato Jet or like Gerald Undone type of guy because with your knowledge, you know, with cameras. And it's like you
Yeah.
could easily set up another channel in that aspect and do that. I don't know if you have any, you know, if it's too
Well,
much in competition in that end of it, or if it's like I just don't have the time, you know.
yeah, I actually do own a couple URL, not websites, but like social URLs that I can log into at any moment and start
Yeah.
doing that. Because like probably 3 years ago, I did set that up because I'm like, I think this is one of the things I want to do is do like tech and gear reviews on
Right.
cameras and tutorials and things like that. But
Right.
life gets busy and you got to sort of prioritize
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
I just never done it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe I can push you into that because I think you'd be very valuable for that end of it too. You know, so
Oh,
because
possibly.
like everybody, you know, when you, especially with your background in production, I think that's another thing right up your alley. But when it's your day job and it's not your hobby, it makes it a little bit harder sometimes to want to focus in on that type of content, let's say. But you know, I know that you've been a little bit a part of Think Media also. You know, I know that you worked with them briefly, but you're kind of buddies with Sean Cannell, if I'm correct, right? Because I mean,
Yeah.
that's how I found out about you, and that's 2 or maybe even 3 years ago. I was watching Sean on a live stream, and he mentioned you, and I thought that was pretty cool. So how did you all bump with him
Yeah, so I met him probably like 10 years ago um, at a conference, and then we just that was like when Facebook was just starting, and we became Facebook friends. And then when I was starting my production company, I messaged a friend. This is prior to that. I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, I kind of want to make videos. And he's like, well, come to this conference and film this conference. And a friend of his, Sean, and another guy named Jeff, were going to be coming up to Canada to film. And I'm like, dude, yeah, no, I've been watching his content for a while. And so we spent the whole weekend together, just filming together. And he
Mm-hmm.
was teaching me tricks, and we're just talking YouTube. And this is when I was just starting my channel. And
Sure.
he's like, He's like, imagine if you got to 1 million subscribers and you were the like the household name for barbecue. And I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. And then at that time we were both like experimenting with video SEO. Like it's going back to like 2015,
Sure.
talking video SEO together, and swapping tricks and secrets that we've learned. And he obviously had a lot more to
Right.
teach me, but I would find something out and I'd send him a text and be like, I'm like, dude, have you tried this? And he'd try and be like, "This is amazing."
Yeah.
And then, yeah, then he started putting together his course and stuff, and which is a
Oh, we're gonna have to wait here. He's blinking out. He lives on an island. Hopefully, he comes back in. There you are. You're back again, buddy.
hello.
Yep, you're on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I if there's one course that I feel like YouTubers should take is his course,
His
because it's
course,
so practical, it's down to earth, it's it just teaches you how to sort of get things going to a point where it could be sustainable in your full-time job. And yeah, and over the years, like it's been a great resource for me. And I was creator on the rise like 3 weeks ago on YouTube. And in that community, I took a screen grab and put it into that community. And I'm like, dude, thanks. Like, this is amazing. And, that whole community of people that were in that course were just like cheering me on. And Sean was like, dude, this is amazing. This like, um, yeah. And so great. That's probably been one of the things that I really appreciate in my YouTube journey, is just his learning and his teaching. And
Sure. And
yeah,
meeting some of them people from that aspect of the whole
yeah,
YouTube industry, let's say.
yeah.
Charlie's asking, have you ever ditched posting a cook because of the video or food? Have you ever just ditched a video, said I'm not doing it?
Yeah, there was one. I don't even remember which one it was, but it didn't turn out great. And a lot of the cooks that I do I've either done a couple times or I've never done at all.
Mm-hmm.
And because I have an idea, then I just want to do it. I want to try it. But when you're presenting, it's like you have to kind of be an authority while you're presenting and teaching, and this is how to do it. Because like 99% of the time, it's going to come out great.
Right.
And if there's something that didn't go well, like this last video I filmed yesterday, it wasn't seasoned enough with like salt, and so in post-production now I can go to another video and grab a different voiceover and just drag that in, because that's how I would tweak it for the next time I do it. And I've done this
Sure.
recipe a few times, but I just missed that tweak from the last time.
Sure.
And yeah, and so there was one, I don't even remember what it was. I'm pretty sure I redid it properly. But yeah, it's it really, yeah, you just kind of hope for the best sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, because I have a steak video that I threw away, and it's funny because it was a perfectly fine medium steak, but the whole cook, I'm talking about that it's going to be medium rare. And by the time I pull it, and I did, like you say, you get sidetracked. I just got sidetracked just that little bit, and it was a perfect medium. And if I wouldn't have been so cocky about how this was going to be the perfect medium rare steak, that I would have posted it. But because it turned out a medium, I'm like, if you didn't say it so much, Jeff, you could get away with it. But I was way too 100% guarantee you this will be a medium rare. And then you know how it is. Something happens. Kenneth
Oh
from
yeah.
what? Kenneth from what? No, go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay. Kenneth from What's New Barbecue is asking, what is your favorite non-barbecue or grilled type of food or meal? Did you get that?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, he's somebody's stealing all his bandwidth today. Reconnecting. Oh, I think you're coming. There you're
Hello?
back again. Yeah. Yeah. It just says that you have a poor bandwidth. It's all right, dude. So we'll work through it. We'll
Yeah,
work
I
through it.
turned everything off. I even have my phone turned off and everything's off. But
Yeah.
Canada,
yeah. Well,
long
it's
distance sort of thing.
Skype. Yeah. It's Skype. That's
Um,
how it works.
but
But
yeah, so I don't know if you if caught that the probably my favorite non-barbecue would be it wouldn't be just one. It's like I love pizza. I love Indian food like curries.
mhm.
Um, I love I don't know like honestly when I'm not cooking barbecue, I eat pretty bad. One of my favorite meals I cooked I had a bunch of beef tenderloin like filet mignon steaks left over from an adrenaline barbecue cook. And I'm like, what do I do with all this? And so I started making like craft dinner with a pan seared filet mignon put on top. I'm like, this is amazing. uh,
Well,
so
I think you're normal. I mean, a lot of people will do that. You just buy a box thing sometimes, and you have no time. And hey, there's some
yeah,
meat. Let's throw it on top, right?
yeah. I like a good burger. I like something savory. But if I had to choose, it would be pizza first of all, and then if I had the time, curry.
Sure.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Well, pizza is awesome. And then it's like we make our own pizza around here once in a while. I'm not ready to do a video on it because when we make our own homemade dough, I still just haven't had good luck with it, and I actually just need to get a good pizza stone someday. But we have some pizzerias around this area that are fantastic, so we'll go to them and it's like, hey, pizza, or what do you want, barbecue or pizza? The kids will usually say pizza. I ain't gonna lie to you. They want to go get pizza, but oh, we lost him again. Shoot. We'll get him. There he's back. All right, buddy. So
Back.
you're
I,
back.
I have a kettle pizza for the kettle,
Yeah.
which I don't use because it's I love it, but it's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
But
A
I
lot of
also
setup time.
have the propane version, and that's what I use. And I buy my dough from the grocery store, like just the dough, and then
Hmm.
stretch it out, and it just like simplifies everything. And so
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
and and we can do that too, but it's like when I want to do a video, I want to do the whole ball of wax, you know what I mean? And someday I will, but I just need to get a good pizza. Did I lose him again? Poor guy. He's got something coming in on his, I think. There you go. All right.
so I may have been on the slower network.
Okay.
So just switched it over.
Okay. No,
Oh, I feel like a tool.
no, you're all right, man. You're all right. So, okay. So, and it's all right, dude. I mean, this is the norm. You're doing fine. What's your idea for a decent basic setup for YouTube? And then what would he upgrade for the next level? That's coming from Charlie. He's kind of asking like, what should be something for a basic video production? What's your idea for a basic video production?
Yeah. Um, well, first of all, you need a camera, and so like if budget is a thing, then use your phone.
Hmm.
You're not going to get like any depth really. It's all going to be the same focus. Like my hedges, you'll notice actually are mostly in focus, but it's sort of the setting I have, and for logistical reasons. So use your phone. This is sort of getting started. I'll kind of go in tiers actually.
Yeah,
Getting
yeah.
started. Use your phone and stay close to your phone so that we get the audio. If you can then upgrade to like a lavalier mic, you can get some cheap wireless components that can plug into your cell phone, so you can actually get crisp audio. Because end of the day, audio trumps video.
Hmm.
This is the story of radio, right? We
Right,
listen to the radio without any visuals,
right,
as long as it's crisp and clear. If it's
right.
staticky, we change the channel. And so it's the same with video. Like you could have bad video quality, but if you have good audio, then
Hmm.
your audience will stay with you. Um, from there, um, like I pulled out a couple of cameras because I just thought you would be
Yeah, yeah.
asking.
You knew. Yeah,
This is
yeah.
this is like the camera I started with. I actually use this camera on like production shoots, even still
Sure.
at times if it's like around water or things like that. And it's full HD. It's a Canon S120. It's point and shoot. It's probably like 7 years old now, and it's great. The audio sucks on it, but that's because it's old. And the ideal set, if you had like $1,000 to spend, this is the camera that I would get, or something similar. This is sort of my main camera angle. If you can see that, it's a Canon 80D, and then just a cheap wide angle lens on it. And it's not gonna break the bank. It's gonna give you like decent quality, especially if you know how to like use the settings. But it's got autofocus. It's got 60 frames, so you can do slow-mo if you need. And it's just a good working camera for YouTube.
Sure.
And then like for on this one, I have a wireless receiver. Then it goes to me, and I have a thing on it, and so I get crisp audio as well. But if you had one of these, or if you even had two of these, that would be sort of the sweet spot for like the average cook. Then adding in lights, and like when I'm cooking, I have that camera I just showed you as my main angle, and then I have a full frame Canon camera as my side angle, and that's because it doesn't have autofocus.
Right.
And so I have to like manually set to the cutting board and just leave it. So I got those two. I got my main angle and then my side angle. And then I have two like big LED panels coming in on the sides as well. Because I'm filming under a tent, I have to like illuminate myself, because or else now I'm just a big shadow.
Right. Right.
And then the audio piece. And I would love to get a third camera, like a third stationary camera that's just tight on the cutting board and straight on. But it just adds a lot of extra work. So
Sure. Yeah. Extra tripod or whatever, and extra focus time and another layer on your editor, So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Julie is asking, what advice do you have for a camera that is heat tolerant for outside video recording?
Ooh, that's tricky. So I deal with that every summer with when I do wedding films, and I have to have the camera on for a ceremony up to an hour sometimes. And so my Canons, they're Canon DSLRs, so they're not mirrorless. They hold up really well in the heat, and I've only had it once, and it was actually in my backyard doing barbecue videos where it gave me the warning and turned off. Sure. And that's when the tent went up. Yeah. So again, the tent is logistical. It's like my backyard gets to like 40 degrees Celsius, which is like 100.
Yeah.
Just the way everything hits me, it just like stays in here and it heats everything up, and you can't go barefoot on the patio.
Sure.
It's super hot. And so it just overheats the cameras. And so Canon, like the 80D has never turned off on me on a wedding shoot. My older full frame camera has never turned off on me for heat. And so that's DSLR. It's not mirrorless. So I'm not too sure mirrorless. I know some of the Sonys, I would stay away from the older ones because they have some heat issues, like the 6300 and this
6500.
So I think the 6500 is better.
Okay. Yeah, because like on my 64 and 66, they have eliminated that big issue. I've ran mine in hot weather. The only time I've ever had my 64 take a dump on me is when I've had my LED right exactly behind it, and it was just pounding it, and it made it shut off, and it cooled down, and then. But if you turn like on the Sonys, if you go ahead and this is boring talk, but if you go in and turn that temperature rating up to as high as can be, it'll allow that to keep on working through it. Mine has never shut off because of that, So if it's just set to regular temp, then it's gonna shut off. It's really finicky. But it'll shut off at like 85 degrees, something like that. It might have a
tough time in the sun. And yes, Dog, I'll answer that. Yes, he uses a couple panels outside under his tent.
Yeah.
I use a couple box lights myself underneath my tent also. So
Yeah, so I use LEDs because they're like you can see if I do this, you can see my face is totally shadowed, right? And so now I'm, but they're like when I use my LEDs, I think they're like a foot by a foot, maybe 660 by color. I think it's in the description of all my videos. Maybe not, but they're great. I just looked at them and now I can't see anything. They're super bright.
yeah.
But if you have a hard time, like if in my scenario with a tent, if I don't use them, then my body and everything I'm cooking is dull, and the background is bright, and so I need to compensate for that, almost like using a flash on a camera in the middle of the day just to get that light. And so my tip for anyone who deals with that issue, where it's like behind them is bright and they're dark and they can't fix it just in their camera, get an LED and get it even like a couple feet away from you if you need to. It may be sort of it may be hard to to film and have this light right on you, but at least we'll be able to see you. And you get used to it for sure.
I'm upgrading to some LEDs for outside because I'm just using your regular old bulbs, and stuff like that. And those box lights don't get bright enough. So they obviously help, but it's still dark. It's still dark.
And those box lights get hot too.
Yeah, a lot hotter.
LEDs, like you can touch them after 5 hours being on, and
they're still perfect.
They're great. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
let's see. Have you ever catered or thought about catering? That's from Charlie.
Yeah, so I actually am in the process of experimenting with that. I make my barbecue rubs and I sell them locally, like once in a while throughout the year. And so I just made up like 2 weeks ago. I made up 90 packs, and each pack has a cup of barbecue rub in it. And I sold 90 packs in like a week locally. Cool. And so that got me thinking. I'm like, actually, as a friend who's like, you should sell barbecue too. And I was like, maybe I should. And so I'm like, if I can. And so I made a bunch of pulled pork for my neighbors, and I went to Dollarama and got like these to-go trays. And I think like each tray could fit like 1.5 pounds of pulled pork in it. And I cooked 20 pounds of pork shoulder in the Weber, and then pulled it all apart and packaged it up and delivered to 5 neighbors, and still had enough for me and my boys to have 2 meals. So it's like 8 sandwiches with that as well. And I'm like, I should offer this to friends. And so it's something that I'm going to be doing in the near future. But I don't think in terms of like actually catering, it's something that I want to do, because I don't think the profit margin is there enough to make it worth my while doing it small scale. Yeah.
But it's still cool that, like, I've been offered many times to do like graduation parties or 4th of July parties and stuff like that. And it's like, man, I know you can make a little bit of ching on it, but it's still not worth it to me, so it's just more work to do stuff like that.
So I can hustle barbecue rubs and make more in one day than doing barbecue and spending an entire day cooking. However, with that I get meals out of it, and so I'm paying for what I'm eating.
Right.
But there is something that's like when I say I want to do this and offer to friends, there's something different about that, because your friends are following what you're doing and they want to taste it, and they're like, if they get a chance to do that, they rave about it, and they're so appreciative, and it's sort of like this thing is like, I want you to taste my food, and so that's sort of the reason why I want to do it small scale, just for friends and family, because just to sort of pass a smile along, and my neighbors, like my neighbors loved it. I keep seeing them and like, oh, that pulled pork was amazing, and I'm like, well, thank you, and it makes me feel great, makes them feel great,
Right.
and yeah, so I'll do that for sure.
Well, you know, and too, like, you know, Joe's like, Smoking Joe's barbecue. He's like, hey, I made, you know, $1,200 yesterday. If you're in an area where you can draw that type of revenue, it's a different story. By me, I live, you know, there's like 1,000 people, you know, around here. By the time I get everything going and all that, yeah, sure, you would sell some stuff, but is it worth it to work all day for, you know, 10 racks of ribs or something like that? No, it's not,
Yeah.
you know, not
And
for
that's the
me.
difference between like, you know, these guys that are doing it more regularly, and they have
Hmm.
big cookers, and they have like the flavor of their cooker that can do like, you know, 10 or 15 pork butts, and all have the same flavor at the end, or the same taste. Like
Right.
for me, I have to do two on the Weber,
Yeah.
two on the pit barrel, and the flavor from the Weber and the pit barrel are going to be completely different,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so it's like, well, you could mix them together, but it's like, well, yeah, it's just not there.
Yeah,
And
and
so,
it really boils down to what everybody has for their cookers and their space. You know, I mean, like, I know Darren from Ash Kickin' Barbecue. He had a big catering thing that he did this past weekend, and yeah, he's got room and he's got a lot of cookers. He's got a lot of cookers. So when you know, a lot of Pit Boss cookers, the same, you know, style of cookers. So when you have that kind of things, it's a little different story also. You know,
yeah,
you know, like, you're 100% right, because if I was going to like cook some ribs on my Bronco and my pit barrel, well, yeah, I could do it for somebody that's a good friend and special to me, that they're
yeah,
having like a party, of course, 1,000,000%. But to start throwing my name out on Facebook and saying, hey, I'm going to do this, who wants it? Oh, you know, that just to me is
yeah.
just too much work right now. You know,
Yeah, and
I need a little time.
I
You
could
know,
sell it. I know I could sell it for sure because I'm a small town, and because I've been selling barbecue rubs, it's just there. And I know a lot of the restaurant owners and things like that. And so it's like that's not. I know I could do it,
sure.
but it's just more like there's other things that are important. Like if I was to do that, it means today I wouldn't have been able to float down the river on a tube.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
it
Yeah.
was like, well, I kind of want to enjoy the summer. Yeah. So yeah,
You're right. It's like, you know, my one day during the weekend is to make a video for my channel. My other day is to prep for the show a little bit and hang out with the family, you know. So it's like, yeah, I mean, but it's still cool. It's still cool. So I mean, you know, Pickles is asking, like, you know, who would you like to be sponsored by? But I'm going to add, who's your favorite person or favorite brand that sponsored you? Because you've been sponsored a few times. So out of that, do you
yeah.
have a favorite that you love working with, or?
Um, I think like I haven't been sponsored by too many companies actually.
A
In terms
couple.
of like other than product, like
Hmm.
companies that have actually uh, like I've done work with Adrenaline Barbecue, obviously,
Hmm.
um, and that was super fun. Um, and I hope we can do some more in the future, especially with their new like kettle style grill.
Yeah.
Dave, if you're watching.
Yeah. Right.
um, but I think one of the companies that I've really enjoyed working with is and it was I don't even know if it was other than product, but the guys over at Pit Barrel, like they're just super kind,
Hmm.
and like every time I've chatted with Amber, who's like one the person I email
Right.
or
Right. Right.
chat with on the phone. She's just super nice, and she has like a southern accent, and opposed to my Canadian accent, and they're just really, really, really nice.
Sure.
Um, if there's a company that I would like to do some work for, I think it would be Weber.
Hmm.
I'd love to do some brand stuff with them. Um, I would love to do some work with. Um, I don't really even know. So I don't think about this a whole lot
Yeah.
because of the difference between U.S. and Canada. I've emailed companies and they're like, like I think it's Boss, Boos cutting boards.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, we'd love to send you a cutting board. And then I give them my address and they're like, oh, we don't ship to Canada. like pro bono stuff. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
like,
right. Gosh.
but
Yeah.
I think I would love to do more long-term work with like Camp Chef, just from what I've
Mm-hmm.
seen from them. They
Sure.
seem like a really great company, and I have a griddle coming
Okay.
at some point to be able to start doing some flat top cooking. And
Sure.
but they have a whole line from like pellet cookers to
Yep.
griddles to, and it's like they seem to do things well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we'll find out.
Oh, well, I mean, well, good luck, and like I know that eventually, there's more people that are going to come after you. I mean, brands would be silly not to, because the way you teach and the way you obviously have production, you have kind of a A B C D E F G type of style when you do your videos. I think you're very professional on that part, so. You're not just you might be winging it when you're cooking, but you have a plan too. You have a plan. You
Yeah,
can see it in
I
your
don't
production.
I don't think I'm ever really necessarily winging it in the terms of like I've thought through everything that I'm going to be doing in terms of the cook.
Yeah.
It's just will it work out? Like, will the flavor that I imagine in my mind be the flavor that I taste at the end?
And yeah.
And so that's sort of, but that's where a lot of research comes in, and a lot of like watching different content over the years. You get inspired, and you get little things that is like, oh, the lime on this with this will be really great. So throw some cilantro in there, and now you have these banging like chicken drumsticks that
Right.
are sweet, but like fresh and crisp and like just speak summer, right?
Right. Right.
And
Yep.
so it's like you pick that up. The more you watch, the more you read, the more
Hmm.
you experiment, like
Hmm.
off camera.
Right.
The more you become comfortable in some of the flavors that you put together. And like for me, like if you look at the history of my YouTube channel, there's a lot of seasons of life where there's no video, and that's
Sure.
just me cooking like off camera, and that's because of like life situations,
Hmm.
or just like being burnt out
Hmm.
from
Hmm.
cooking, because like when you have a YouTube channel, you almost are expected to cook and put a new video every single week, because that's what YouTube culture says.
Right.
And for me, it's always been something that I want to do for me.
Right.
And whenever I've worked with brands and companies, that's when it becomes a bit harder. And that's like after doing stints with brands, especially long stints with brands. That's when you see like I don't put videos out for like 2 months
Yeah.
or 6 months. I Up until I think when we were talking about coming on your show,
Hmm.
I had just put a new video out
Yep.
after a year, 1 year of not putting content out other than
Right.
Instagram, Facebook, like just photos of things I've been
Hmm.
cooking. And so
Hmm.
now I'm going through some of those old photos and actually looking at them and remembering those flavors and how I did it, and thinking I'm going to make this one. And this yesterday was scrolling through Instagram on I guess the Friday, and I'm
Sure.
like, I need to do this cook because I remember how good it was, and so I filmed it yesterday. And yeah, but that was an off-camera cook
Cook.
experiment
Yeah. Yep.
that
Yep.
really um, worked out.
And
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I started doing too. It's like sometimes you just don't have time to do a video, so it's like I just take a picture of this and throw it on Instagram, and
Yeah.
then after a while, like, hey, that turned out pretty good. I should just actually do a video on that. And so I hear you there. So and I 100% agree with the whole burnout thing. And right now, it like I was always told, when the sun is shining, make hay when the sun is shining. And that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
But I feel it that there's going to be a couple week hiatus away from YouTube for a while, because it's like sometimes you just got to back down, regroup, kind of take some time to plan, maybe learn a little bit more about either camera stuff, or even like myself, I'll sit down and just kind of look at my channel and kind of like actually say, oh, I get it. What this dumb analytic means, that's not my holy cow. And I like, oh yeah, because there's a lot of people that are YouTubers that they really, really study all these different things. Well,
oh, totally.
Whatever. It's like, oh, I got 5 views today. Great job. So it's like, it's a lot of that type of stuff. But so what out of everything that you've cooked? I mean, really, when there's something that you could honestly say to everybody out of all your videos, or even maybe something not on a video, that you say, this kicks butt. This will wow your world. What do you got on that, man?
I couldn't tell you. I rarely make the same thing more than twice before I just get on to the next thing. One of the cooks that sticks out to me the most, though, when I think of cooks that really surprised me, was my crispy chicken wings video. Because
I'm not laughing at you, but I saw that video and I copied that video. I did.
Eh?
Well, yeah, and like the funny thing is that we kind of did that same thing here, but I always did it on a Weber kettle, and then I saw you did it on the pit barrel, and I'm like, I'm gonna try it on a pit barrel, and mine's a little different,
These ones were Weber. This is a kettle.
Oh, was it on a kettle? Okay.
And it's funny because it's one of my higher view videos. But I remember that day specifically, I was working in my office, like out of the house, and just editing, feeling like, I'm like, I just don't want to be here. All I want to do is cook something and film a video, and I haven't done that in like a couple months. And so I just packed up all my gear and drove to the store, picked up some chicken wings, and I'm like, I'm going to make some crispy wings. How do I do that? And I'm like, so I quickly did some searching and found like 10 recipes. I'm like, these are all kind of different, but there's some similarities. And so I'm gonna like pull from various different recipes, and to make up sort of what I'm gonna do. And those wings, when you hear it when I bite into it, it's like crunch.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell? These are amazing. And again, going back to video and post-production, those wings that I made were a touch too salty. So in post-production, I tweaked it.
Okay.
Knowing that if I back the salt down, a certain percentage, then they're going to be like perfect. And I had a guy yesterday commented like, I made these for the 4th of July for my family, and I followed the recipe exactly, and they were perfect.
There you go.
Yeah, and I'm like, that for me, that recipe sort of it defines a lot of my cooking style of like, I think this is gonna work.
Yeah. Well, because I'm going to tell you, then I put it on the pit barrel, and that would have been last year, and then maybe I put it on the pit barrel to be different from you. But it was funny because my wife would always take chicken wings and then throw some flour and some different stuff, a little vegetable oil and all that, and then put them in the oven, and she'd cook them in the oven, and I'm like, well, it's so easy, we can do it on the grills, and I threw it on the pit barrel, and we did it like all last summer. It was like every other weekend my boys are like, can we do the crispy chicken wings again? And it's like, they are really, really good, so
and the funny thing is with that recipe, it doesn't really, that's one that doesn't cross over nearly as well in the oven, because the oven has it's closed, and it's all that moisture is trapped in there. It can't escape. And so now you're cooking, instead of dry heat, you're cooking in a moist heat, and it doesn't really crisp up the same. And it's something special that happens when you cook it over, like on a some sort of grill.
Yeah. Because like it's kind of funny though, because like I had a guy one time tell me on that, he goes, man, that's just the way you're putting those in that bag and doing that. It's just too much flour. And I'm like, dude, no, because it's not too much flour, but okay. For you, maybe, everybody's because I don't want to just eat flour either, but we ate them. We eat them all the time, so it's like, I get it. Maybe I rushed it or something and he got something wrong, but I always laughed because, I'm like, these are good, and then like people, people don't realize it. And when I saw that you did that video, I'm like, okay, yeah, we've done it. I've got to do it, so, but yeah, that's a good one. So,
and going back to like YouTube algorithm, like that's one that is actually, I think, if you type in like crispy chicken wings, or crunchy chicken wings, is actually a very predominant search term.
Sure.
Comes up in like the top 3, and that's not because of the video. It's just because of the back end SEO that's been done to it. To get it up there.
And it's funny because my video has hardly any views and yours has got a bajillion, so, but hey, it's how it is.
Keeps going. It keeps going.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a season. It's a evergreen content.
Yeah.
That just keeps going. Yeah.
So I ask everybody this, what, from now until next year, what is something that you want to do for your YouTube channel to enhance it, either anywhere, it doesn't matter, production, rubs or cook style or cookers. What's something that you're thinking about doing?
Yeah, so right now I'm thinking about adding that third stationary camera. So technically before with this little guy, like this handheld like roaming camera, and so adding another camera would be on the list, as well as adding more cookers. My space isn't that big, but I can, now that everything's full anyways in the backyard, I can just just pile it onto the corner because we're not using it anyways.
Right.
But I would love to, like, this griddle from Camp Chef, like I said, is in the mail. So there's going to be some flat top cooker videos and burgers and whatever you do on Camp Chef stuff. Right. But I would love to add a pellet grill, and so I actually sent an email out to Traeger a couple weeks ago. I haven't heard from them, so I'll touch base again. But I'd love to get the Traeger, whatever their high-end model is, but
Timberline,
the Timberline 850, which is the shorter version. Again, thinking space, right? Because I don't have much. I can't fit a big grill, and so I think practically, right? And so adding the flat top cooking, adding some pellet grill cooking, because with a YouTube channel, if you've done ribs, if you've done ribs 10 times on a Weber, and it's just different variations, you can do those same 10 cooks on a pellet grill.
Right.
Because people that have pellet grills aren't searching, how to smoke ribs on a Weber kettle. They're searching how to smoke ribs Traeger or Pit Boss or Camp Chef, whatever it is. And so you can redo some of those videos because it's even slightly different process even. I'm going to put extra smoke to start for the first hour, and then I'm going to bring it back down to, standard, things like that. Right. And as long as you teach the method in a way that is engaging, or even if there is some differences, you pick apart those differences and be like, if you're cooking on a Weber, then you don't really need to touch it. If you're cooking on a Weber with a slow and sear, then there's going to be like this moisture with the water reservoir. If you're cooking on, because we're doing a pellet grill, you're not going to have that. So we're going to have to like spritz it a little bit more often to get that moisture content and sort of that moisture flowing throughout the cooker chamber. And so like those are those little things that you just pick up with each variation of the same video. And it's just so those are the two.
Well, it sounds like you got some big plans, and that's good, because and I'm glad and happy that you're back to making videos again, because like you say, you took a whole year off. I thought, well, who knows, new job or something like that. But and then all of a sudden you showed back up, and that's cool, Jabin.
A lot of the past year is just like personal stuff, and I just couldn't film.
Right.
And then COVID hit. I'm like, well, my job is sort of like not really there, and so I guess I'm back to making YouTube videos. I remember, so I sent a photo to Justin, and I'm like, because we chat like throughout the year. And
Yeah.
I sent him a photo of me holding a pork loin, and right beside a tripod, I said, "Buddy, guess what I'm doing tomorrow?" And that first cook after a year of not making videos was the hardest thing. And throughout the day, we were texting back and forth. And I'm like, Justin, this video's not going very well. He's like, dude, you got it. It's gonna be great. And sure enough, magic of editing, it was fine.
Sure,
it wasn't
sure.
great, but
But it was
yeah.
still glad to see you back at it,
Yeah, and I think this time next year, I would love to see that consistency remain, even to the point like with COVID, like we don't really know the future. Like up in Canada, we're like on the island I'm from, we haven't had a COVID case for like 4 or 5 weeks, and so like it feels like our community is just back to normal life.
Yeah.
We're down in the States where you guys are. It's like, YouTube went on there, it was like 50,000 new cases. And I'm like, well, is that going to come up to Canada and affect, the progress we've been having in terms of like, all that stuff? And will that stop my day job of production even longer?
Right.
Because right now I'm thinking like, September is sort of the time frame where I think things are going to slowly start picking up again. And so I'm thinking like right now, like a year from now, I would love to have more consistency. If it's every week, who knows? Every second week, I'd love for sure. But at the same time, like, well, maybe I need to focus more on YouTube to build that to a point where it is sustainable, where I can take like production clients as the side hobby.
Yeah.
Focus everything on YouTube, because I can like live my life based on that. And so I'm kind of a strategist and an analytics guy, and crunch the numbers and try to figure everything out. And so if it's
well, I think you're even like speaking like every other week, at least post a video. I mean, I think that's good deal. That's a good deal, and hopefully you can add a couple little more things to your arsenal and not freshen up your channel, but that will kind of pull in a different audience into your channel. So I mean, it will kind of bring new eyes and things to you easier. Not maybe easier, but that will spread into different areas. So good job.
Oh yeah.
I think you wanted to announce something about maybe a knife giveaway that you got going on.
Oh yeah. Okay, so everyone in the chat, I've been using this Hanzo knife. I don't even know who they are. They were like back 2-3 years ago. They're like, "We send you a knife." I'm like, "Sure, I need a new one," and so it worked. But I sent back in like March, April. I sent an email to Dal Strong, and I'm like, guys, can you send me some knives? I'm in need here. And so they sent me a couple, and then after that, they're like, would you want to do a giveaway on your channel? I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's do it. And so right now I have, if you go to my channel and you watch the most recent video, you'll see that there's a knife giveaway. And so all you have to do is hit the subscribe button to my channel and to their channel, and then that enters you in. And realistically, I don't know how to track if you're subscribed to their channel. So it's more just like leave a comment on that video, and that's how you enter, because it's just like comment generator thing.
Sure.
Right. The knife, it's like a knife of your choice too, up to a certain dollar value. Because
Awesome.
I'm like, I want them to do the knife that I currently use. But they were like, it's out of stock right now or something. And so how about the boning knife? I'm like, well, the boning knife is kind of like not as practical. And so just knife of your choice, which, is really any chef knife outside of that one series.
Sure.
So, yeah.
I got the Black Shadow series. I got a couple, one knife from there now, and I'm working on getting a couple more. But they're a good knife company, and giving away knives is pretty cool. So I might even have to come over there and I'm already subscribed, but I might have to come over there and leave a comment.
Oh, so. Totally. No, do it for sure. Because like even if you have like five really good knives, like what's the problem having a sixth good knife.
There's never enough knives. That's what I tell my wife all
never
the
enough
time,
knives.
you know, because
Yeah,
I've always had a bunch of Dexters, you know, because it's just a cheap, inexpensive, good knife, you know. But in the YouTube world now, you like to put a little maybe nicer looking knife in your thumbnail or something, or your video and all that. And it's like, my wife's like, well, why do you need so many knives? I'm like, are you kidding me? If I could have 100 of them, I'd have 100 knives, you know. So
yeah. At the end of the day, like Dalstrong is not there. It's not like a top, like an incredibly top end knife.
Right.
You can get pretty much the same knife on AliExpress for like, $30.
Right.
Or you can go through my link and save 10% and then I get kicked back. But by the end of the day, like they're a premium version of what you can get from AliExpress.
Exactly.
And from my experience of using it for like 2, 3, 4 weeks, I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
And I think that they're doing something right within that price point of knives. And especially like with YouTubers, and it's So go try win a knife. I'd love for someone who's here tonight to win that knife. Even though I'd love for someone in Canada to win that knife, because any giveaway, and I want to do more giveaways in the next, like over the next year as well. Make it sort of a regular thing.
Sure.
And whenever a company is like, would you be open to a giveaway? I'm like, yes, only if it's open to Canada as well.
Yeah.
And there's some brands that are like, no, we're not doing that. I'm like, that's fine. I don't want you anyways in. Because being Canadian, I want people like my Canadian followers and subscribers to have that chance.
Right.
Because if they can send it to me to use, then they can send it to someone else in Canada to use. Right. So.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, I still hate that there has to be any type of international shipping from the United States to Canada. It's still, to me, it's I get it, but it just sucks. But I've sent a couple rubs, or at least one, to Canada, and Suckle Buster's like, hey, we'll do it this time, but could you please not? I'm like, okay, so just in the 50 states, I get it. So I get it.
Speaking of that, is there a way, like, I didn't ask earlier, but is there a way for me to hook you up with some of my rub as well? So send you 2 packs, and then you give away a pack to someone that's in the chat tonight.
Sure, we can do that easily.
Because for me to send it to you and to someone is like crazy pricey, but for you to send it like within the US to US is fairly inexpensive.
We can easily do that, bud. We can easily do that. So we'll have 2 hashtags. We'll do 2 hashtags this week. We'll do hashtag Jabin for your rub, and then we'll do a hashtag 1836 because I'm giving away a Suckle Busters one. So guys, remember that, like, not in the chat itself, in the replay.
Hashtag Postal Barbecue.
Okay, there we go. Hashtag Postal Barbecue. Okay, hashtag Postal Barbecue.
Barbecue, BARBECUE.
Okay, the whole word. Okay, whole word. So Charlie will write that out on there and the hashtags. But we'll do 2. We'll do one for Suckle Busters and we'll do one for you. And then you send it to me, and then I'll do a video using yours. And then I'll also send out.
Yes. Let's do it that way. Let's do it that way.
Yeah,
so everyone in the chat, watch out for a video of that video. And
right. Yeah.
Figure it out.
Well, great job, buddy. I really appreciate you coming in here. I kept you on a little bit longer than I told you I was going to, but I appreciate it. You're a great guest, and I hope you had fun, and everybody in the chat certainly enjoyed all your conversation for sure. So.
And I want to say thank you as well for hosting these on a weekly basis. I know it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time away from things that you could be doing. And so thank you for doing this. It really enhances the barbecue community, the YouTube barbecue community, and this whole space. And it really just brings a whole camaraderie.
Yeah. You're not filming, so yeah.
Not filming. That's what it'd be like if I was filming, though, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it really just brings people together. And so I appreciate you and everyone else that does these types of interviews for this community. It really means a lot, not just for me, but for everyone that's here. So thank you.
Perfect. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that, bud. So I'm going to be on for a little bit. If you want to jump into the chat and BS
Oh,
with
I'll definitely
everybody,
jump on.
I appreciate it. And hey, we'll talk offline, about, I'll give you my address and all that, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
And like, I want everybody to make sure that they know, because I've seen a couple people put it up here. It's put the comments in after the show is done, go back to the replay and put it in there so I can use, because I can't use a generator out of the chat itself. I got to be able to have it in the other parts. So Zach, make sure you go back into the replay, tonight or tomorrow morning, and put the hashtags in there, because last week I was disappointed. And it might have been the weekend, how everything fell or whatever last week with the holiday. But we only had 5 guys, and Robbie Clark, you won again. You probably are watching behind the scenes, but you won again, brother. So, but I'll let you go, Jabin, and thank you very much, buddy. And it was a pleasure. So, all right, bro.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
We'll talk soon.
But,
Bye.
bye. All right. Yeah, I knew you were in there, Robbie. Good job. Congratulations, buddy. So you are another winner again, man. So, well, that was an excellent conversation. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. And hey, we got to give Jabin a round of applause on that one. Thank you for all your great, questions again, too, guys. And I can only get to so many. You guys all know that, but there was some real good ones in there, and I appreciate it. But you know what time it is? It's a little P-Bake polka, so enjoy.
Hey, geht's euch gut? Super. Hey. Zicke, zacke, zicke, zacke.
There's always the replay.
Zicke, zacke, zicke, zacke.
It's okay, though, Rob. You're all good, buddy.
Super. Hey.
All right, so there we go. Jabin is just one of those class acts. The guy has a good, great, wonderful style about him. I love watching his videos because he just feels like, that he's really, really wanting to teach you. And that's what I always get from him. And I'm a production wannabe, and I just love watching his videos. And I've learned something. In most of his videos, I always learn something. Oh, okay, so he's doing this, and so that's the one thing that we can all kind of learn from each other. There's a lot of things that I've learned from other YouTubers, and I think a lot of you guys have maybe learned 1 or 2 things from me too. And we are, like he said it the best, you know, I mean, we are a community, and it's a great community in YouTube, and it's important that we, you know, try to help each other, you know. As much as life is a competition, in my opinion, the YouTube stuff really isn't a competition. It's like, get out there, work hard. I'm more competitive against myself and what I'm doing than like what other people are doing. You know, I mean, I'm interested in what other people are doing, but I get more pissed off. I'm like, you didn't say this at the end of my video or something like that, you know. But what a awesome interview that was tonight for sure. And chat, way to go. The chat was running. Holy cow, I couldn't even hardly keep up with it. That was fun. My party went real good, Darren. I did get really drunk on the 3rd. It was fun. I was a lot. Whoa. Well, thank you. Got a super chat from Jabin. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. You don't have to pay on your own interview night, man. But thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. And I have these goofy things that are going wrong with my thing. I used to have the zombies that ran on my screen when I got that, and I got alert. Well, I don't get that anymore, and I don't understand. The connection's lost somehow, so whatever. But I really, if anybody ever gives me a super chat and I miss it, I apologize, unbelievably apologize that I missed it, because I just don't get that alert, and I'm using the comments that I'm using are from my show platform, or whatever you want to call it, and that's not on YouTube. So hey, thanks. How you doing, Rome? But yes, Darren, to finish that up, I had a good time. We had a good party. A lot of people. The kids had so much fun. They all got a little sunburnt, and they were like slathered up. They were like all baby back ribs out there with suntan lotion on them, but they still got a lot of sun. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah. There's some truth there, Ray. Maybe I gotta have people pay me. If you want to come on, you gotta pay me. No, I appreciate, you know, anything that I get all the time is highly appreciated. You know, and I take all the little earnings that I have and dump it back into the show or back into my channel. I mean, I am getting to the point where I don't have a lot more stuff to buy. Like I explained to my wife, there's only a couple things that I need, honey, for production, and I'm done. And she's like, well, didn't you say that like 3 months ago? And then you bought a new camera. Oh yeah, that's right, I did. You know, and I did buy a new camera, and I'm excited. The hamburger video that I put up, that did have 4 camera angles. I'm sorry, so that was fun to. It was a little bit of challenge of editing, because you know I'm not used to that many clips on top of each other, but it was fun. It was a good time. So whenever you guys can add another angle, do it. And it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, but do it for real. I mean, try to always enhance and amplify your production. But yeah, I had a wonderful 4th of July. I hope all of you guys did, you know. Even with the COVID thing up by us, there was no social distancing practice at all at this party, but it's all people that know each other real well. And I mean, there was a lot of lawn darts and, you know, the bean bags, you know, the cornhole game, and yeah, everybody was having fun, and I was cooking, and I dropped a bucket of freaking cooked chicken wings. Oh, it wasn't because I was drunk at that point. My buddy was taking them off, set it on the kettle. I didn't know because I was working on the ribs. He set that stainless steel pot on the right on top of I had the vortex running. We all know. Holy Brad, well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that, man. Very nice of you, young man. You don't have to do that, but thank you. I really do appreciate it. But so he puts this pot that I have the wings in right on top of the vortex, right next to it. So I grab it and I'm doing a taste test, and I'm like, oh my God. So I fight through this taste test. You know, it's good chicken wing, good. And it's just scorching. Well, you know, anybody that's barbecued long enough, you know, you get used to touching hot things and fire. You know, This was warm though, and my whole glove was just slathered with barbecue, and I was just about done. And your hand just sometimes, maybe call old age, I don't know, but your hand just gives out. It gave out, poof, on the ground, and I'm not kidding you. I had a pack of wolves. We had a bunch of dogs there. Nobody was going to eat them anyways, but they just attacked that pile of chicken. And my wife's looking at it, and my other buddy's looking at it. I'm like, well, you can't have dogs eat chicken bones. We got to get these darn things picked up still. So it was pretty funny. But yeah, it was oopsie. And like, my wife didn't think about filming it, because if she would have filmed the dogs attacking them, it would have been like awesome. But she's like, I didn't even think about it, because I'm like worried about the dogs choking, and I'm like, yeah, it's all right. But we still probably we might have a good reaction from me, like, oh. I hope I didn't cuss. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but it was funny. But the ribs turned out great. I did some ribs just in the Bronco and hung them, and then threw some barbecue sauce in the foil, and then foiled them up, put them back in there for a while. No fanciness or anything, but everybody was really satisfied. I used some Butcher barbecue stuff on that one, the sweet chipotle and sweet chipotle sauce also. So it was really good, really good. But how did your cook go, Darren? I did see you said it went pretty good. Well, Dash, thanks for joining me, buddy. How you doing, man? I don't know if the dog is still in here. He was in here earlier. Oh, that's all right, Brad. You film it for your own memories. You don't have to share it with people. But hey, in time you might start doing your own channel. You got like 1 million cookers, brother. You got a lot of them, So, it's all fun. And I managed not to fall asleep. Yeah, I understand that, Dash. Yesterday we went, like I told people earlier, and we went to just went out for prime rib. I'm like, I am so not going to cook after 2 full days of cooking. And then I'm like, there's this bigger town called Appleton. We went over to Appleton and just hung out, and her and I and the boys had a party to go to. So it was great. We had a little fun. So it went great. Took a while. All right. Good job, buddy. Good job. Yeah, you've been pretty busy. You had your burger. If you guys haven't seen that, Darren over at Ash Kickin' Barbecue, he's in this burger competition, and I think he's made it to the finals. I don't know if it's over yet or not. I did jump off a lot of that stuff for a while. So, but that burger is a monster burger, buddy, and it looks beautiful. So good job on that, cook, man. Really, really cool. I did a burger video, but my burgers were the simple burgers. That's why I said we're just doing simple burgers. Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate you stopping in, man. I really appreciate it. And I understand. Been a long weekend. Yeah. I don't know. Was that for Pit Boss? I can't remember if that was for Pit Boss or not, if that burger challenge was for that. So, but that burger that Darren did was, he's a good photographer too, I mean, I'm not saying it was all photography, but it was good. Yeah, it was good. Okay, you did win. All right, good. Well, congratulations, buddy. Congratulations. And, it's like always fun when somebody like in the group that like accomplishes something that's pretty epic like that, So, yeah, it's quite the burger. And you got to do a video on that now, Darren. I don't know if you did a video, if you just took a picture of that one. I saw a video that you cooked some smash burgers on the Pit Boss griddle. Was that the same cook? I am not gonna lie to you, I didn't pay that close attention, but I saw you cooking on the griddle in like a hurry up, fancy, like fast motion thing over your shoulder. So I'm not sure if that's the same burger or not. But no. So using more cameras, you know, Jabin gave you guys a lot of good information there on how to start, you know. When him and I did our audio test, I told him, well, you know, I want to talk a little production, obviously, with you and you, because of your background and how good of a production you do. It's funny when he says, well, this is nothing I would show anybody. Well, dude, it's pretty damn good, you know. So, you know, it's like if I had the color in my auto white balance, I'm always in that. If I was able to set that and my ISO's better and my focus better, yeah, I'd be showing that off. That's for sure. Yeah, his B-roll is awesome. That is for sure, Rob. His B-roll. Yeah, he's always got that. You know, but so he's a good channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed to him, I know I saw Steven in there. Thank you, Steven, for sharing all that. You know, get over there and check him out because auto setting. I use the auto setting now. I used to dial it in all the time, and no longer. Now I use auto white balance in my auto ISO because it never fails. The stupid cloud, you know, comes over, and then it's like, ugh, you know, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's sunny again, you know. So just put it on auto. Screw it. You know, in a controlled environment, it's a lot easier, obviously. You know, I don't have any problems when I'm filming like in this spot, or if I'm filming over by in my kitchen where I do my little taste test or seasoning in the wintertime. There's never any problems there because that's all controlled. But, you know, when you get, you know, father, son, I don't know what the hell you call it, the sun coming over. Yeah, I like cloudy days. I like to film on cloudy days. Really cloudy days, but not to rain. But no, so I hope, like I say, everybody, you know, Dash, did you have a good 4th of July? It's always funny how yeah, I used, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you know what, it's like I don't understand enough like my camera. I'm learned a lot about my camera and all that goofy stuff, but I still don't quite understand. I lock things in and then it still changes, you know, and it's like still weird. So it's like, I don't know. But yeah, it's you know, each scene almost has to be looked at, you know. Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad you're busy cooking, buddy. That's good. It's good. Burnt ends, yummy. Yeah. Yeah, I need to do some burnt ends on my channel one of these days. We make them, just never do a video on it. Oh yeah, you were busy. But yeah, so and I know Dogfather asked earlier, you know, does he really use lights? And yeah, he does, and so do I. You know, outside I use, you know, box lights because underneath that tent you do get pretty dark. So if you can bring those lights up closer to your face, at least you get a little bit of, you know, something. You can see your face a little easier. I got a little sunburn, obviously, so you can see I'm a little even redder now. So when I make my videos, I'm really gonna look like, I don't know, sunburned lobster guy, you know, but not terrible. Yeah, Jabin lives in British Columbia, so on an island. He's very spoiled. He has beautiful weather all the time, so and probably not a lot of bugs out there. You got a good, nice ocean breeze, you know, keeps them away. I don't know. At this party, it was great. They paid somebody that has a mosquito spraying company and fly thing. There was not a freaking fly or mosquito. My wife said she noticed two of them. Two. Well, if anybody saw that Instagram, you can see we're in the pines and it's, we're next to a lake. Well, that's just, get out the bug spray. No, I didn't even put bug spray on, and yeah, I didn't get bit once. It was amazing. So they sprayed that whole area, and it cost them some money, I'm sure, to spray that. But that's the first time I've ever heard of somebody for the 4th of July spraying their yard and having that whole area cleaned off so there was going to be no mosquitoes, and it worked. Man, I'm like, geez, I gotta try that. Yeah, happy 4th to you too, Steve. Yeah, yeah. The at the end of the hamburger one had this hungry fly, and it wasn't like this a regular fly. It's one of those green ones that are all blown up, and he's like keeps on wanting to land on those burgers, and you're like, get out of here. And I'm, oh, freaking flies, damn them, My wife said, well, maybe you're gonna have to start doing your taste test back in the house again. I'm like, I kind of just like doing it outside, and then I have to haul cameras around, But I don't know. Dumb flies. They're good for something. But what are they good for? But no, other than that, there's a skeeter on my Peter. Yep. That's so funny, that video. I was doing briskets. That's the video that I didn't do the whole ending because it was 4 o'clock in the morning by the time I was done and all that. And it's just funny how things pop into someone's head when they're filming. That song that I used to listen to back as a kid, I don't remember who sang it, but the skeeter on my Peter, knock it off. Extra protein, yeah, that's about it. But hey, you gotta love the nice weather when you can get it, There you go. That's not a bad idea, Tom. It's not a bad idea. Deliver it. Oh, those are just raisins. What are you talking about? But no, hey, Adam, how you doing, buddy? That's nice. Not too bad in Idaho. Flying raisins, yeah. Yeah, so like, flies. I didn't have as many issues with flies when I didn't have the tent. And I've noticed that now that I have the tent, I have a little bit more issue with that stuff. So in the last couple cooks, I'm like, what the hell? Might have to, figure it out. We'll figure it out. And plus, it's only like another 3-4 more videos, and it's going to start cooling down around here, I'm good, Adam. Real good, buddy. Oh, congratulations. Got your first video. Hey, Matt, how you doing, buddy? I hope you had a good 4th of July, Matt. I know it's going to stink going back to work tomorrow, but I'm kind of, I'll do it, type attitude. Good. Yeah, mine was awesome, Matt. I had a great 4th of July. Hung out with some friends, longtime friends, 40 plus year friends. My one friend Dale and I were, my dad and his dad were best friends, so we've known each other for 50 years. So it was a great time. We had a lot of fun, and he was, what was he called, the operations manager, because the people that were visiting his brother-in-law, he was out on the pontoon pulling all the kids around, and so he's like, "You're in charge. You're in charge of parking too." So Dale was busy all night, and so was I. I was cooking, but yeah, it was fun. It's fun to do that type of stuff once in a while. And we had good food too. Good food. The chuck roasts were freaking incredible. And that's the video that I got coming up next, is a chuck roast. I was really, really happy with those. Did just 4 of them. One's a little smaller, but man, that was just tasty, tasty, tasty. So it was good. It was good. And then we did the chicken wings, and I really liked the Suckle Busters. That wing stuff that we used on those this time, and that was a good hit. Everybody liked that. So, did some pork butt. There's way too much pork butt left over. There's a lot of food left over, but I let Dale go by it. I told him, well, we got, you figure out how many people we got and divide it by 2. And these people, when they have a party, it's like you don't just bring one dish, you bring like 2. So there was the whole kitchen, dining room, everything. There was just food everywhere. If you don't find something that you like to eat, then you're not just a vegan, like you're complete just soy, because holy cow, there was just so much food there. It was awesome. Yeah. I was happy I got my video up on Friday. That was the big goal, to have this little hamburger one come up, or cheeseburger, simple burger one. So I was happy I got it up. You're always trying to get, at least right now during this time of year, you should be trying to get one video up a week. You should be, as hard as it is for a lot of us. So yeah, Brad had a huge party too. A lot of doggy bags. That's good though, bud. Man, 12 pork butts? You had a feast. Oh. Yeah, there was still plenty of beer left over. We came home, my wife, because I, took a lot of beer there, and she's like, "What are you planning on drinking all this yourself?" I'm like, "Well, no, you get people that might want a Corona, and they know I drink Corona, and there's going to be all kinds of Wisconsin beer there too." And she's like, "Oh, okay." Well, I come home, and half the thing, I told you didn't have to bring that many. Well, you never know. But it was fun. Beyond Meat. Yeah. Now those are, people watch those videos. There's a lot of people that, they don't want to eat that stuff. To me, it's like, I haven't tried it. One of these days I'm going to try one. So, but Charlie had 24 beers and made a hot dog. That sounds like a successful 4th of July to me. Oh, 24 cherry wines. There you go. Yeah, I didn't have any. Well, I take that back. I had 2 old fashions when we went out to eat. I had 2 old fashions, and if you're not familiar with them, that's just bitters and sugar water and some whiskey in there, and a little cherry juice once in a while. But yeah, I had 2 drinks, and I'm like, ugh, I don't even want to drink. Just want this big chunk of prime rib. It's really good too. Hey, Grumpus, how you doing, buddy? That's okay if you're late. Watch the replay. Jabin crushed it tonight. He was on fire, man. Well, if it's pickles, I'm sure it's Miller Lite. Now I know Brian, it's gonna be Bush Light. Yeah, it was warm. It was warm here, but not like you guys in the South warm. I think it was like 93-ish, 92, but we just have really high humidity here too. There's a lot of lakes around this area, so it's always like swampland and a lot of wetlands around here. So yeah, it was pretty humid on that end. So, but oh well. 90's not bad, but it really wasn't terrible on the 3rd. It was warm, but there's enough shade there, so it was decent. And then you drink enough, and then you kind of forget about the heat. What? 138 degrees? That is just putrid hot. Oh my gosh. I literally would sit in the car the whole time with air conditioner on. No way. I couldn't handle it. I'd puke. Oof, my brain would boils enough on 90s. I can't imagine that. Holy cow. That is some really gotta kill the virus with beer in 138 degrees. Oh, it's truthfully just putrid hell. God. Yucky. There's no way. Oh, is he? He's joking? Okay. All right. I was going to say that's death. but yeah, it can literally get that hot in the foundry, like Rob is saying. My buddies in the foundry, a couple of them that worked there for a long time, they wear like tons of clothes, long underwear and all that, because it actually helps them stay cool. It's weird. Yeah, it's Louis, I mean it's a warmer summer here too. I mean it is. I mean last year we had the perfect summer. We all talk about it. Last year it was like 80 degrees, like a hot day was 80 degrees. We got a lot of rain last year too, but it rained at night and wasn't bad during the day. And man, it was just, I remember like baseball was good to go to the baseball games and kids weren't like dying. But this year it's been pretty hot, But, us chubby guys, we struggle with the heat sometimes, But, whatever. Deal with it. Sweat. Get out to, like my buddy Dale was saying, well, if it gets too hot, we're going to have to get the monkey butt. Said, yeah, I'm just going to stand still as much as possible. I know. I run right for it, and it's like, yeah, always chafed up. Yeah, my wife is like, "Oh, we don't need the air conditioner tonight. It's cool out." And I go in the bedroom and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I am not going to like go to bed sweating. No way." So crank down the air conditioner, and then I'm like, "Just leave it at 72. If you can please just leave it at 72. Then I don't sweat. It'll be fine." But I'm going to bed all like, oh. I don't know how some people can do it. She can handle it. Not me. Not this fat guy. No way in hell. And then my kids say, "Well, maybe you should exercise, Dad." I told them exercise is boring, but I should. 68 for Rob. Yeah, 68's really comfortable. Yeah. It's like that. Oh, and I don't like to pick on my wife too much, but she came home a couple days. "Well, Jake, how you doing, buddy?" Jake's on his way to the foundry right now. But my wife, she came home on Thursday and she's like, "Something's wrong with my car." I'm like, "What?" "Crazy hot. My air conditioner's not working." I'm like, "Huh?" So I go out and check her car, and I'm like, "Well, if you turn it on, She's like, I did. So it's not even a new car. She's had it for years, but she just didn't press the button or something and wasn't thinking. She's like, oh, my car is so hot. Well, God, turn it on. There you go, Robbie. That's nothing wrong with that. Well, there's truth, a lot of truth to that, Jabin. There's a lot of good thinking time. Yeah, I used to go to the gym all the time until like my new job. When I got my new job, I'm fat because I sit in a car and drive for 5 or 6 hours of windshield time to go have an appointment, sit in my office all day, come home and edit and sit all day, so, but yeah, I've been telling her, well, one of these days. Warm-blooded, yeah. Exercise is good, they say. Not sure. Well, Charlie, you like have like this, you're a twig, beanpole, as my dad would call you. One of these days has come and gone, brother. Yeah, there's a little bit of truth to that. Yeah, I agree, Tom. Exercise is great if you want to feel, miserable. Yeah. Well, we all kind of go through that. I used to be a yo-yo. That's what my one buddy told me, like, you're a yo-yo. You're up and down all the time. One time I was like, I got all the way down to 200 pounds. And I looked sickly then. I didn't look right. And people comment to me like, are you okay? Well, I'm like, nah, I just got skinny. I graduated high school at 225, and I was pretty skinny then. Not skinny, but a little bit more muscle mass and all that type of stuff because I played sports. But then right now, 275. I'm 275 pound tubby, so whatever. Right, Grumpus. Round is a shape. You are correct. Well, we have 2 of them, Jake. One is Postal Barbecue. So it's hashtag wait. I'm pretty sure I typed that correctly. And then the other one is hashtag 1836. So those are the 2. Jabin is going to send me a couple packs of his rub, and one I will use for a video, and then one I will give away and I'll mail it from there. there's yes, you need to be a little thicker in Idaho. Are you up in a mountains area, Adam? I guess I never asked you on that. What? Mine got lost in the mail? No. I will check it out, though, for you, bud. I will check it out. But no. You didn't get that rub. I will check it out. What did you win, Rob? Send that to me. I can always look it up, but I sent that to Dan, and he said got it, so we'll have to make sure. That's good, though. Oh, whatever, Johnny. You never even tried to win. You never even put your name in there, buddy. Maybe one time a long time ago you did, but that one I don't believe. Because I know Dan sends them out, and usually everybody like, the brisket rub. Okay, well I'll find out about that because I sent it to him, so I'll find out. Dan's usually pretty good though. Yeah, you put hashtags in, but they're never the right hashtag. Yeah, that's right, Mike. Charlie is a beanpole. Could be Pickles Beanpole Barbecue. Oh, yeah. But no, I will find that out for you, buddy, because everybody usually gets theirs, so I'll double check that one. I might have... No, I mean, I know he replied back. He always replies back to me because it's usually always like tomorrow I will send the winner for Robbie winning, Robbie Clark, and he usually always ends up doing it. So I don't know, weird. Yeah, I think you should start lifting weights, Pickles. Charlie, I think you could beef up a little bit. Just be like, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh no, I think you look more like God darn it, no, Lou Ferrigno. You should go after the Lou Ferrigno look. There can be some truth to that, Stop drinking beer, and then you can get even bigger. Oh, poor Charlie. He's getting crushed tonight. Well, guys, we're closing in on that 9 o'clock hour. Make sure that you guys get over to Jabin's channel too and try to win one of those Dahlstrong's knives that he's giving away. I mean, it's a nice knife. And, leave a comment, he says, basically. I think most of you in here are subscribed to him, but subscribe to Dahlstrong's. And then, other than that, great, good time. I hope you all enjoyed it. I know I did. It was a lot of fun having Jabin in here. And remember the hashtags when this thing actually posts, that you get in there and, try to win some rub from him. Yeah, Daddy Dutch is still in here. Thanks, buddy, for hanging out this whole time. You must be cooking again. Yeah, it sure was a good time. You bet. Good night, Brad. Good night to everybody. And, have a great week. It's always the Mondays after a holiday. But, hey, there's another one coming pretty soon. We got Labor Day weekend coming, and it'll be right around the corner next thing you know. Thanks, Craig. Appreciate it, buddy. But, yeah, you guys all have a fantastic and wonderful doing fireworks with Little Dutch. Cool. Good job, buddy. Yep, don't forget. There you go. Charlie's got these in here for everybody. Don't forget to get yourself a chance. And after, Jabin and I'll talk. And once it gets here, then I'll put it in a postal thing and send it off to you. I don't think we got too many people in here from Canada that are watching tonight. But if somebody wins in Canada, well, then Jabin will talk. So, instead of sending it back across again, so. But, all right, everybody, take care. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you Oh, I better say we have Mofo Kitchen on. If you're not familiar with him, he's a pretty funny guy. We got him on next week. Thanks, Claude. And we've got Todd and Sassy from Greenhorn Barbecue and Beer. So we got 2 people next week. That will be I think that's my last show with 2 guests. But I'm looking forward to getting Mofo in here. He's a pretty funny guy, so it'll be another good show. And Todd and Sassy, they're going to be fun and excited to be on too. So, all right, everybody. Well, take care. Have a good one, and we'll talk to you soon.
It's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Thank you so much for joining Ricer on BBQ Tavern Talk. Before you go, make sure you hit that thumbs up or hit the thumbs down. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Hit the notification ringy bell. All of those YouTube things. Action figures sold separately. Batteries not included. If symptoms persist, seek medical attention. Only 1 per household. Call toll-free number before digging. Caution, filling is hot. Do not fold, spindle, or mutilate. Do not remove tag under penalty of law. Refrigerate after opening. In the unlikely event of a water landing, your seat cushion may be used as a flotation device.